Good evening and salutations, my Days of Lives fans. So let's start with Sammy. I don't know what people see in that woman. I like as far as being a fan. If you like her, that's cool. Not for me. But after she talks to her mother about Lucas and everything like that, she decides to be Sammy, aka being spiteful. So the first thing that she decides to do is go to Sean's place to tell Sean, oh, by the way, Bella slept with EJ. I feel really bad for Smith telling you this. Now Kayla is just Smith there looking at her like, no, you're not. They're over there helping him put the baby crib together and setting up the monitors and stuff like that. Sammy comes in there and she says it like she's doing him some sort of a favor. Don't get me wrong, I'm not Smith this thing on some level. She isn't. But in reality, you could have let your sister do that. But of course, no, 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 no. She got to be spiteful. How dare you sit there and sleep with my sister? Wham, 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 wham. So what? Shut up. Oh my goodness, that woman acts like a Karen. Yeah, she comes over there and she's all like, oh, I'm so sorry to sit there and tell you. Now, at this point, Bella was sitting there hanging out with Chloe. Told Sean about, told Sean about sleeping with EJ and, you know, how when she went downstairs, she kind of still felt, or she heard, and just felt like EJ was still in love with Sammy. So she decided to leave, and she seemed like she was hurt by that. This is after, of course, Brady was sniffy acting like a dick to her. Um, she decides to leave and tries to tell Sean before Sammy does. But of course, at that point, she was too late. And when Sammy was like, oh, I'm just so sorry to sit there and tell you, Bella was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. So they argued for a little bit back and forth. Practically, Kayla had to kick her out the house. And so she leaves. Now, at this point, Kayla's like, yo, Steve, let's go. Let those two talk for a little bit. And Sean is pissed. Okay? Sean is pissed. And I look at this whole thing. And the way that Bella explained it, like, oh, well, you had to sit there and knew that they're having problems. Like, I'm not going to lie, that actually just pissed me off, to be honest. Like, oh, well, you're having problems, so, well, clearly sleeping with somebody else is obviously a good thing to do when you're already having problems. Like, I don't even understand how she actually uttered out those words. Well, Sean, you can't sit there and act like this was a surprise. I mean, we've been having problems for months, even before EJ. So, logic would suggest that when you're having problems, this is what you do. Come on, bro. Like, really? That sounded so idiotic. But regardless, if the thing is, it's not so much that Sean cheated with Bella with Jan Spears because she doesn't blame him for that. It's the lying for months that was the problem. The lying for months and having it come out of Jan Spears' mouth instead of Sean was the problem. Being humiliated like that was the problem. Because let's be honest, if Jan didn't sit there and say anything, she would have never known. And that's messed up for so many different reasons. Now, as much as everyone likes, Bella being with EJ and everything like that, I do try to look at it from both sides. And from Sean's point of view, it does look like Bella only wanted that separation so this way she can have permission to do what she already wanted to do. Um, and I don't really understand how that works. Like if you're separated, it's like something saying, "Well, we're taking a break." Like what? Because at the end of the day, it's not just saying you're taking a break and you're just doing whatever with other people. It still feels wrong. It still feels wrong. This whole you're separated, so it's okay. I can just do it. That's why when she came out her mouth and was like, well, you had to know that this was coming. I mean, we've been having problems for months. Like, no, no, I did not think this was coming because usually when you actually care about someone, you actually care about being in a relationship with someone. You fight to sit there and be in that relationship. You don't sit there and say, "Oh, was having problems with mom, so hey, AJ, what are you doing tonight?" Like, come on. So I don't really know about this whole separation thing. I feel like that's just kind of a to cover her bases, if we're gonna be honest. Um, but again, Sean did sit there and lied about it for months about him actually having sex with Jan Spears. So there is that. Now this idiot Sammy goes over EJ's place, and she's all like, well, first of all, EJ for some odd reason thought that actually thought that Sammy was gonna come back and want to be with him again. And I'm like, bro, did you not forget that you just slept with her sister like not that long ago? Like, really? So she's like, no, I came here to say goodbye. Now, I'm looking at the whole thing like, bye, Felicia, bye. She's all like, oh, I'm done with both of you men for a better part of 2 decades. I've been going bouncing for, from you to you or whatever. I was like, don't sit there and just put this on them. Because you played a part in that too. Don't do that. But she's like, I'm done. I'm done with Salem, and she's leaving, and I'm going. I'm like, I'm sorry, why are you still talking about this for? Don't you have like a plane to catch or something? Shouldn't you just be on? Like, what are you, what are you doing still here? Like, I don't understand. Um, so yeah, she's gone. I don't know. I guess to sit there and do another Lifetime movie or Hallmark movie or whatever it is that Allison Sweeney does. Um, so okay. I don't know. Like I said, I know a lot of people like her, and that's cool. She's just, uh, no, just no. Kate isn't there telling Lucas to fight. Lucas feels guilty as hell. He's like, he just wants to sit there and do a, you know, plead guilty. This way he can sit there and spare his children and everyone, a lengthy trial. He feels like he's guilty. She's like, no, I need you to sit there and fight. You're going to go to jail for life and yada, yada, yada. So, she tries to really hammer it in that, yo, for real, I need you to sit there and fight. Um, then they go out and they run into EJ. Now, before they run into EJ, Roman came to sit there and see EJ to apologize. And I'm going to be honest, that was really big of Roman to do. Seeing how he doesn't like EJ. He never liked the way that EJ treated Sammy. And his words, he's been right about EJ so far. But he came there to sit there and apologize first thing in the morning. And, EJ kind of like smiled a little bit and, was kind of glimmering. And then he was like, listen, it happens. It's your children. I get it. It's no big deal. And Roman talks like, hey, listen, Kate, but he does sit there and urge him to not really retaliate against Kate. Let the justice system handle her. Don't do anything, like don't get revenge on her or whatever. So of course EJ's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. You can trust me. I'm like, really? Like really? So he goes to the jail and he sees Lucas off. Now at this point, Kate's like, oh, Roman told you about, me knowing. He's like, yeah. So at this point, Kate's like, all right, so where's the revenge at? When's it gonna start? Like, I just want to be prepared. What do you plan on doing? And I'm not gonna lie, it's a great scene. You should definitely watch that part. I mean, obviously you're gonna watch the whole episode, but I just particularly like that scene because I don't know how to sit there and describe this scene, but it's the way he was Nitya talking just reminded me of a show called The Originals and a character named Klaus, and how the way he would sit there and talk is like some sort of speech or whatever, and it's very hard to describe, but it's like very theatric is the best word I can sit there and describe. And that's literally what, EJ was going for when he basically said, I'm going to get revenge on you, and I don't know when it's coming. I mean, depends on my mood, depends on the time of day, depends on the weather. You're just gonna have to sit there and wait. And I think that's probably the perfect type of revenge, is to sit there and she'll never see it coming. She doesn't know when it's gonna happen, and she's gonna be sitting there tormenting, thinking about it. So after that, when I'm leaving, and of course she ran into Sammy, which I'm just like, girl, what the hell are you still doing here? Like, who let you in this place? Who let you in this house? You don't have not married. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, granted, he was happy to see her, but be honest, if my ex-wife, not that I'm married or anything like that, but if my ex-wife was just in my place when I walked in, I'm not gonna have that same energy this time. I'm just, I'm just not. Especially if we ended on bad terms. Walk on up in this house like, mm. So I think Roman went to go talk to Marlena about Lucas and Sammy and everything like that. Now at some point, Kate comes to talk to Marlena, and Marlena opens the door like, how are you doing here? And she's like, I need your help. And Marlena more or less is like, why should I help you? Why shouldn't I just not tell you to kick rocks? Like, after everything that your son did and the fact that you knew and you actually was brazen enough to like show up at my doorstep, that'd be one reason why I shouldn't sit there and slam the door in your face pretty much. Um, so I really can't wait to hear this one because I'm just like, Kate, you knew damn well, even knocking on that door, what kind of smoke you was going to be sitting there dealing with. So, whatever this ass is, you better make this a really grand speech because, so look on her damn face, she is so not happy. Now, on a side note, maybe it was probably better to watch Beyond Salem because some of the characters, in this episode is in Beyond Salem. And in a lot of ways, because I watched this one first, there's a lot of spoilers that I'm just like, oh, yeah. But I do plan on watching it tonight, so we'll see. And I do got something to sit there and say about that, but I think I'll probably say it in this one. I must just say it now because the next two people are going to be Chloe and Brady, and to be honest, I really didn't care about their scenes, but I do gotta say something about them as a whole. Um, the thing about Beyond Salem is that in some ways you can not watch it, and if you read a couple of things online, like Hope, for example, like they really do get into why Hope was gone so long. Why she stayed away so long. What was she sitting there doing? Now, granted, you can also sit there and go to Wikipedia and get the same answer. You don't need to sit there and pay $4.99 to sit there and watch all those different episodes just for little key moments. From what I understand, I heard they're going to be adding some characters from Beyond Salem onto the show. I heard Stephanie is going to be one of them. From Stephanie Johnson, she's going to be one of them. I don't know who else, but the point is that in a lot of ways you don't need to sit there and watch Beyond Salem. Now, don't get me wrong, it is fun as hell. Um, there's a lot of stuff that they're doing in that show, and it just feels like it's more of an event. It's still a soap opera, but it feels like it's more an event, which is why I liked it so much. Um, but the stuff that goes on in the show doesn't affect the stuff that goes on, here. In the regular Salem, the normal Salem show. So it's an extra, it's an add-on, it's like additional stories that you don't necessarily need. It's not like something is going on in that show that's going to affect this show. Um, so in some ways, it's kind of like, why even bother? You know? Which is sad because it's like you have two shows that are in the same universe, but the stuff that goes on in one doesn't affect the other. Now I'm gonna just sit there and throw out a wild comparison that some people may not know because you're not really in comic book movies and stuff like that. But sake of argument, you got the Marvel movies, you got the Marvel TV shows. Now, the stuff that goes on in the movies will affect the TV shows, but the stuff that goes in the TV shows don't affect the movies. So you don't really need to watch the TV shows to really understand what's going on in the movies. And it's sort of the same thing with Beyond Salem. You don't need to watch what's going on Beyond Salem to really get the full picture of Days. So in some ways, I don't want to sit there and say it's redundant, but it's kind of redundant. I will say that much. Nice little bonus, but it's not necessarily needed. Now I want to sit there and talk about I'm about to sit there and say Blowy. Chloe and Brady. Maybe that should be their little close name, Blowy. Um, I'll come up with something. But when I was before I started like recording and stuff like that, and I was washing dishes, I was just thinking about them, their setup, and in a lot of ways, I feel like, at least for me, that they kind of undermined Chloe in a sense. Like Chloe, like when Brady came by and he saw the champagne and stuff like that, and Chloe was like, "Oh, I was just spending the night with a friend or whatever." And of course, Bella came out and she was all like, "Ah, I got you. Thought I was going to cheat on you, but I wasn't." And it was just like, see, the thing is, that would have been funny if it was Philip. There was a lot of things that Chloe did, and the way that she acted, like Philip's feelings weren't important. And yeah, there was a lot of times where Philip overdid it. He definitely went um, overboard. But particularly, I want to sit there and talk about with the I guess the business thing where Brady was sleeping in Chloe's bed and he came over there. Now, granted, yeah, that was definitely overreaching. But him being there and seeing another man in your bed and you're sitting there telling him that he needs to apologize and that, you know, he's in the wrong and, it's Brady's back and this, that, and the third. And if the roles were reversed, I'm pretty sure she would be very pissed off. They've been laying the groundwork specifically because the actor was probably leaving. I don't know if she got kicked off or whatever the case is, but the actor was leaving. So they built up that relationship, that separate relationship between Brady and Chloe. So that way when the actor left, Chloe could sit there and be paired up with Brady. And in a lot of ways, it was just more plot. It's like they undermined Chloe as far as just being kind of a bad girlfriend to Philip because they needed Chloe to sit there and be with somebody. Um, Now I don't know if the actor's gonna come back to sit there and play Philip, and if he does, that'll be great. If he does, it's just gonna make her just look even worse because the dude is dead. He's been dead or he's been gone for a while, and it just seemed like she moved on so fast, so fast. Now, with that being said, they don't really do too much of anything. He comes by, he talks about how he went somewhere with Rachel to go sit there and see his son, and talk about Teresa and talk about Bella, and I guess Brady and Teresa was in a bad spot, but they're in a more amicable place. And Chloe's like, I hope that at least for Bella and Sean. And then after that, he got her a gift and they started making out and having sex. And I was just like, all right, yep, it's time to fast forward past that because I didn't eat yet and I'm not trying to lose my appetite. So, yeah. Not gonna lie, I kind of feel like that's about it, or at least the most important stuff. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.